Hi, Keith here in the Rebel Civics Mobile Studio. I'm still on the way home from the Free State Project's PorcFest, the Porcupine Fest, gathering of 3,000 liberty-minded people. I gave a couple talks there, one on Secession 101 and one on off-grid communications. So for today's show, in the traveling studio, I'm going to talk about living remotely, the civics aspects of it. So we're in this trailer here, our camper. My girlfriend and a friend of hers bought this and gutted it, took it from a shell and a frame, and they designed a whole interior and a galley. And I just thought I'd show you a couple minutes of the camper. So this is the aft galley back here. We have all our kitchen stuff here. This is our plates, everything we need to live. We've lived in this up to 2 months. It's a 5 foot by 8 foot little guy. Our storage. This is where we get all our power from. It's solar powered. We have a 100-watt solar panel on top. All the lights are LEDs. We have USB. We have AC charging. Can recharge a laptop from it. Renata cooks up a storm in this. Inside, I'll just show you from the side, is a bed and some cabinets. And storage areas. We got USB. We got a speaker in there. The box in the front, we have a cooler in the front. We have an air conditioner and heater if we're plugged into 110. And we have a 7-gallon water tank with a hand sprayer where we take showers and wash dishes and that sort of thing. So anyway, we're going to sit and talk about remote living. We're driving around. We're visiting people. We spent a week boondocking in the White Mountains and Green Mountains National Forest, just living completely off the grid, no cell phone service, all self-contained. But we have our house with us. It's a lot of fun, and it really teaches you what you need to really live and be happy. And part of our driving around, we're visiting friends and family, and we camp with different people. Right now, we're camped in northwestern Pennsylvania in an undisclosed location in the White Mountains. And I'm going to bring in an extra special guest to talk about what it's like to live and work pretty much almost off the grid, isolated. Okay, now I'm going to bring in an extra special guest. We're staying at Beverly and Todd's house. You may recognize Beverly as the host of the Unsafe Space Token Minority Report and the producer.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. This is an amazing place she has here. And we were chatting a little bit last night, but I want to hear more about Chicago, like the difference between moving from Chicago to this place up in the mountains.
Yes, this is not Chicago. This is northwestern Pennsylvania. And it's different living in the city. We got out of the city because of the whole coof thing with everything shutting down. We couldn't work and we couldn't go visit people. You had to wear the stupid face diapers. Yeah, jinx. But and I hated that too. So I already did not like going places generally, and then when you have to go somewhere, like go grocery shopping and put on a mask, it was just kind of like no. So we moved out here, got 6 acres of land where I can step outside and not actually have to wear anything, I guess. I just don't wear face masks.
And Pennsylvania was a lot better than Chicago as far as the whole coof lockdowns. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the certain cities like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, I'm sure were terrible, but this is rural PA where nobody lives. So overall, like no one even talks about it. No one cares. There are certain places, and still like the medical place, like the hospitals and veterinarian clinics, they still require it. So.
We were briefly in Philadelphia, and yeah.
Is it bad?
It was bad.
Okay.
A year ago, it was bad. They hadn't figured out yet. And being from Florida, which most people in Florida figured it out within a few months, so we knew they were lying to us. Long before 1 year ago, this month, last year going to PorcFest, we got to Philly, and all of a sudden, and I actually ended up going in a hospital and getting a checkup on something. And, they made me wear a mask. I'm like, well, I haven't worn a mask in like 6 months, and part of the reason we driving to PorcFest is because I don't want to wear a mask.
Right. Yeah. We weren't flying. Even when we flew to the retreat last year, sat by the window, just had my hair down and stared out the window and had the mask down like the entire time. So they just couldn't see that I wasn't wearing one. But if we could have driven, we probably would have instead. But that was a much farther drive than it is to New Hampshire from here. So
I did an article on it's on the Unsafe Space Substack. Maybe we'll put it in the show links on a device to protect you from the virus. Remember that one? It was peanuts or pretzels?
Pretzels, because they don't give peanuts anymore. So
they give you pretzels.
Yeah.
So when the crew comes by and they look at you and frown, you just hold up a pretzel towards your mouth. So as long as you have a pretzel within about a foot of your mouth, then you're protected from the virus.
That's what I do for all illnesses, really, though. I always carry a pretzel in front of me for anything. It protects me from
virus, bacteria.
I don't wear a seatbelt when I drive. I just hold onto a pretzel. It protects me from accidents.
Lightning. You can put a pretzel on the roof of your house.
Yeah. As weird as a hat.
But yeah, so we were talking a little bit. Todd was trying to work in Chicago in the middle of Coof, and he had enough, and you had enough of the city, and it's quite a change to go from the city life to this place they have out here with outbuildings and rabbits and geese and ducks and chickens. We'll talk about the chickens a little later, but
yeah,
working remotely.
Right. I was already working remotely in Chicago. So I guess that's not it wasn't as big of a change for me because I was already used to not going anywhere and doing anything even before the coof. So my life didn't change a ton when everything shut down. But it was like, well, now I'm not allowed to go out and do anything. And so that means I want to go because they're saying that you can't. But it was like, if we can't go out and do anything in Chicago, then we might as well come out here where we don't have to do anything, but we're away from people and with a lot of animals. And I love animals. So we just keep collecting more and more.
Were most of your neighbors around here like not paying attention to all the lies and what the instructions that the elites were telling us?
The majority of at least signs and stuff that I see around here are like Trump signs. So I think there are probably also they don't talk about politics and stuff really. Like when you're talking to neighbors, we're talking about just what's going on in our lives and everything. Though it's not necessarily complaining too much about what's going on elsewhere. But I mean, sometimes people might bring up whatever, like, oh, Trump's speech or something that Biden did or whatever. But like overall, even family members who I know, like, we disagree on politics. There might be like more old school Democrats, but we do agree on like certain issues. We just don't spend a lot of time talking about that. We're like, oh, we're having a party, we're hanging out, meeting back up, cooking hot dogs or swimming or something. So it's just not as much of a concern out here.
When you get this far away from the cities, people just live their lives and don't care what was going on.
Yeah, pretty much. But especially, I mean, I guess I don't know exactly how bad it was during the first year or so. But I think probably by some point they were like, nothing's happening to us. Like most people around here, like there isn't a lot going on. I still have family members who believe a lot of the lies, but even they now are kind of like, well, we've got the vaccines, we've got this stuff. Like it's kind of ridiculous to like keep going forever. Like we can't keep this up indefinitely. So they finally kind of had like a line that they drew and are more or less over it, but which is good because there are still people out there who are very much they're willing to just be locked up forever in their homes.
There's people calling for more of it, we see. And it's certain areas, you can probably guess where they are. One of our reasons for going through Western Pennsylvania, going back home, is we intend to go back down through West Virginia, Tennessee, into North Carolina. Like we're going to go around Maryland, which is a little hard to go around. We definitely go around Connecticut and Massachusetts. I don't even look up what the rules are, but
yeah, because Maryland
stay away
sucks
from
too,
those.
right? Yeah.
Well, when we were in the southern part of New Hampshire, we stayed at another very remote, undisclosed location at a friend's house, halfway up their long driveway. And one of the days we drove into Keene and went out to dinner, and it was a bit of a shocker because we drove up here. We've been on the road, almost coming up on 2 months, We've stayed mostly in rural areas, camping in national forests and staying at friends' houses that aren't too close to anything. We get into Keene and look around, and it was like, oh, yep, people are still wearing masks. We went into a restaurant, and all the staff has masks on, and I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah.
But if you get into the cities, that's what happened. And I asked somebody about it, the friend we were staying with, and he said, well, the problem is Keene is too close to Massachusetts. That was his answer.
Oh, okay. So all of Massachusetts is bad then?
I don't know. I think it's just Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
I have
western
heard Boston
rural part
is not that great, or at least it wasn't for a while during it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I guess they had like certain mask rules back and forth for a while last year, but it seems like for restaurants and other places. But then, well, let me think. Restaurants, I never went into a restaurant where I had to wear a mask. So there were some that while the mask mandate was still in effect in Pennsylvania, people still, like, the restaurants just ignored it, where like they didn't require it because they're like, we want business and people don't want to wear them. So we would go out to eat there, but because I think that the point where they're like, oh, mask mandates have been dropped, I was kind of like, oh, they hadn't been yet, because most places around here had already just given up on it because they cared more about the business. We didn't have the stupid police that are in other areas where they're like shutting it down, at least that I know of. Yeah, no one. I've also just never. I was telling you last night too. I've never seen police out this way. So
yeah, I don't even. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have neighbors, but I haven't seen any. I know a couple cars have driven by in the 24 hours or so.
Get a lot of like four-wheelers,
5.
a lot of like just people.
Four-wheelers. So yeah, there are neighbors somewhere. You certainly can't see any of them from here.
No, we got a lot of woods around. What you see in the background here is pretty much what you see around here. Oh, here come some bunnies as well.
And there was we got there's a black bunny that hangs around our area.
Yeah.
Our camping spot here.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very refreshing from even like one day in the city, and like I want to get back out away from everything.
I don't even know the last time. I guess the closest city, the only one that I've been to has been Erie, which is up north of here though, but that one's still like a small city among cities. So I haven't been back. I think I went to Chicago last March or something maybe. I don't even remember. Have I? Yeah, I think I went back to it. It's been so long, I don't remember it all. And I want to go back and visit friends, but other than that, like there isn't a ton that I'm like care to see. But I have heard that it's better now, that like they've dropped a lot of the mandates for now. But except for like government places though. I have a friend who works at the library, and so they still have to wear masks there because, government.
The government, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Chicago does have a lot of government.
Yes. Yeah, it's mostly that.
You probably can't go a year and a half without seeing a police officer if you live in Chicago.
No, and I probably wouldn't want to either, though, because it's just like at least some of the police that might keep out crime too. That it might just deter people. Like, oh, when they're there, I'm not gonna,
You do want them around, especially if you're not allowed to have a gun.
Yeah.
But
like
we
were saying,
maybe it's a good idea to have police.
It doesn't matter as much out here, though. If I've seen a cop, though, because we have several guns within arm's length.
It's not a place. I think most people know this isn't a place for that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think, like I said, there's probably like petty crime and all that, and among like towns and stuff too. Like, so that happens, but I never hear like big violent crime or even breaking into houses. Like, that's here and there, but again, it's risky because a lot of people here have guns. So you try to enter into a house, though, you probably will get shot. So.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons in most parts of America, and definitely all of rural America, like people don't break into houses at night when someone's home. If a house is going to get broken into, it'll be why they know there's no one there.
Yeah. And unfortunately for people who want to break in, I'm almost always home. So
not a good idea.
Yeah, that's what, like working remotely, I can come out. The biggest problem is lack of internet.
Yes. I remember the statistics for seeing the stats of break-in times for England, was like London and England. Like almost all home break-ins happen in the early evening.
Really?
Yeah, when people are home and awake, because then they get the jewelry, because no one has any weapons.
Yeah, because
so
you can't have guns.
So they break into houses in the evening.
They only.
But it's the opposite in the United States.
What do the police have? Like batons or something? Isn't that?
I don't know.
I thought,
mean,
yeah, they
if
can't
you're
have
home
guns.
sitting on the couch watching TV, you can't call the police.
Yeah. Yeah.
They walk in with a gun or a knife.
Right. The thieves are just going to steal your phone anyway, and then you can't call the police.
Thieves don't care about the rule. But yeah, the internet here is fascinating. And so for a year, we've been dealing with upload and download videos to Beverly, trying to produce it. And I just went through it with the last 2 shows, trying to get the audio and video to Beverly from sitting on a picnic table in a campground, using the hotspot, trying for 4 hours, and then. But
That's
so
my life.
I'm a geeky person. So first thing I did when I noticed here, Beverly has a slew of antennas, satellite dishes, and big Yagis on poles pointed in different directions. So how exactly do you pull off being a producer living in the middle of the mountains?
Poorly is how I do it.
Or patiently, I would say.
Yeah.
I
guess,
don't think it's poorly, but it's patiently.
When we first got here, even before we moved, my biggest concern was internet, because I'm like, I had another job at the time too that was remote, so I'm like, but I need the internet. So I was trying to like find. I think I had like 3 or 4 different internet service providers, because I tried DSL, I tried satellite, I tried different ones that use the phone service, and multiple ones, because the ones with the phones, they go through like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, but they were all nowhere nearby. So I had to keep trying the different one. Like, can you send me a T-Mobile, and can you send me this one? And they didn't always do it correctly. So it was a lot of trial and error for the first couple, and a lot of money spending on just like, I have 4 different internet connections right now. None of them work well enough to do video calls or any sort of streaming. And eventually we're using, it's called Net All Over, NETALLOVER. So for those who are in rural areas that need it, it actually, and I think it's located in Texas.
And that uses the long Yagis, right?
I've got the 2 big antennas that point toward, I think it's AT&T. I think we have AT&T right now. Our phones use Verizon, so we have another antenna that points that way to the tower.
Oh, that's the booster? A cell phone?
Yeah. So the big one that's on the roof is the cell phone booster, and then we have a satellite dish. I still have satellite internet as like a backup emergency one that does not work for video calls, but just for like having any sort of internet connection. So we just have antennas, and that's like pointed this way. So we have them pointed in all directions, and none of them work super great.
But you're patient and you wait. If it takes a couple hours for a file to upload and download.
Yeah, it's a lot of like resetting the internet, sometimes resetting the router, where I'm like, well, this is down. Sometimes it might be like a 500 megabyte file or smaller, and it says like it's going to take 15 hours to download this. And like, that's not what it's supposed to be. So then I'm like restarting my computer, trying other things, resetting the router, and eventually one of those things will be like, now it's only 15 minutes to download like a 2 gigabyte file or whatever.
It's really cool that you can do it, though, that it's possible to live in a place like this and do a very data transfer intensive job, internet.
Yeah, I was really concerned before, but I was like, I will figure something out. We just want to get out of Chicago, and then we'll make sure that we're able to do something. But I do know people who have like farms in the middle of nowhere in like North South Carolina, live on 10 acres, and they have like fiber. So they
that would be a matter if they ran it up the pole.
Yeah, they're so lucky. Out here we can't get cable. We're like a mile and a half away from anything. I think they have fiber internet elsewhere and cable nearby. Even Starlink, we're waiting on Starlink. They keep pushing it back. We were supposed to get it like last fall, then they said it was going to be this summer. Still waiting on that.
Probably has the schedule of the Tesla releases.
Yeah. So I just have I'm waiting on you, Elon Musk.
It's optimistic.
So
meanwhile,
hopefully
we're watching your Twitters while we're waiting.
Yeah. But maybe within the next year it'll actually happen. I don't know.
And that's assuming it'll work. It'll probably work, though.
They all say, like, everyone who actually has it says it works well. I mean, as from what I could tell, it's going to work better than what I have now. So we'll see. But it's just a matter of getting it. And they keep having, like, I know it's nearby. They have it, like, in a nearby town area. Like, they've got it. But then it just, like, skips us. It's only, like, in spots that aren't exactly right here. So, and I thought the point is to be out more in the rural area. That's not just in towns. Like, the towns already have internet. It's us it's we, hicks out here who need better internet.
Yeah, eventually they'll probably run cable or fiber down the street. There's power lines, so they already have poles to do it.
I even called the cable company and asked them, like, if I paid for this, like, can I get, or even if like the community or something, if we like chip in money to pay to have it run out here, can we do that? And they said no.
They don't want to. There's not enough,
I guess,
customers.
I don't
population
know.
density is too low.
I forget what they said. It was just like that we weren't allowed to like pay for them or something, though. It seemed like it was just kind of like arbitrary rules where they said that they could not allow that. So
you have to wonder if there's a technical reason. You would think they would tell you, but it doesn't. It depends on who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder and hear, we have Comcast, so they say things like that, and finally I'll ask a question like, you're saying like, for money you won't do something.
I know,
like,
so like, just take my money. You can do like, this isn't that bad. If we're gonna give you like thousands of dollars, like, take my money. Don't you want that? They don't.
They're following the rules. So living here like during the zombie apocalypse, you might not notice for a couple weeks. Or the next pandemic, and you say like social distancing, like, well, no, we don't actually have to do anything different.
Right. Yeah. I guess if they have any of the stupid rules, if they come back with mandates or anything, then we're just gonna stay here and not go out to eat and stuff. Like we go to the movies like now for TMR doing pop culture. I'm like, I have to go out to the movies, but there's no problem there. People sit beside me, and I just never liked that generally. Not that like in a sick, afraid of being ill kind of way, but it's just, I don't like people. But like if it's a full theater, then it's fine. But again, we're out in the middle of nowhere, so we'll go out to the movies during the daytime, and we'll be the only two people in the theater seeing something, like even a popular movie. So it's just nice being out here where others aren't.
Yeah, it's great. And maybe we'll come here with the camper in the zombie apocalypse. Like we live in a smaller town, but there are people around. But the camper has kind of always been our way out, and we have it set up to be totally self-sufficient. If we wanted, at least for a couple months, would be no problem.
We've got a lot of food here too.
Water. I think we like our camp spot.
So this is a good place.
The Beverly campground, Camp Beverly.
And we're trying to grow. That's the other thing too, living out here, just trying to be more self-sustaining, and we're terrible at it right now, but we're learning. So we've got like a garden that's growing some stuff, and then we have a field that got planted that, I don't know, the birds are eating the seeds. I think some things are growing out there, but we've got chicken eggs. That's the thing that we're doing fairly well.
And we had a very nice breakfast for Nana cooked with a fresh goose egg, which I had never had before. It's about that big.
Yeah.
One egg, like she cracked it, and I took a picture, and I'm like, wow, that's going to like feed two of us.
Yeah,
it was very creamy too.
Enormous. And then that's a plus side too. Get geese, and you can have, when they lay one, they don't lay year round like the chickens do, but this goose apparently lays twice a year. We thought she was only going to lay once during breeding season in spring, but she started it again. So pleasant surprise. We got more food.
More eggs, yeah.
Or more geese. We're not sure yet. We're letting her keep them in the nest right outside of the one that we ate, but I don't even know if they're fertilized or not. The male goose keeps trying. I don't know whether he's successful, but he's really
He came over
excited.
And was really complaining today when we were eating one of the eggs.
Yeah.
We had a goose at breakfast. We'd chase him away.
By the table, not on the table.
Yeah, there's a goose egg on the table.
Yeah.
We did have to threaten to put him on the table if he didn't shut up.
Yeah, he's a chatty Cathy.
Yeah, so you can start a garden. Yeah, I want to see the chickens too. I want to walk over and look at the chickens.
Sure, yeah. Let's go take a look.
All right, now it's just us chickens here. Oh, and a goose.
And a goose. Hi, yeah.
And I've been cautioned to be careful of the electric fence, which is to keep the fox and keep the chickens in. Or the chickens don't touch the fence?
We keep the chickens in and hopefully the fox out. There's like a little safety netting thing at the bottom here too. Oh, he's chewing on your pants. He's gonna eat the microphone.
What's his name?
His name is Lemon Grab.
Lemon Grab. Lemon Grab, welcome to Rebel Civics. What do you think?
Oh, now you're quiet, huh?
He came over this morning to our trailer and we got up and gave us a raft of shit.
Bring it. Honk, 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 honk. Oh, she's worked up.
Now she started the other geese. They're like, oh, something's going on over here.
But the other goose, she's watching the baby ducks because she thinks she's their mom.
So how many eggs do you get?
We get about one a day per hen. So we have the one rooster there. He's got that solo feather sticking out of his tail after he got attacked by, we assume, the fox. But he's got his tail feathers growing back in.
And this is considered free range, right?
This not so much. When without the net, without the fence, they were just running around everywhere. That was more free range. This one's penned up.
Chickens don't have to be all that free to be free range, right? I guess we'll have to check what the government's definition of free range is.
We actually do have the coop that's in there. We moved it in for the winter. It's a mobile coop, so we did have it going, traveling around the land too. So we have the fence out around it, and then the coop is inside, and they just come out. But they were also flying over the fence too, so we either had to cut their wings, or that's when we started just letting them free range, since they like to explore. But now that Mama Fox is around, so.
And we saw the fox on the way in.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We stopped and took a picture of it.
And I've seen her baby. It's getting older now, and so they're both going to be hunting around here probably. But hopefully this electric fence deters them, because apparently the geese did not.
And we've seen deer, I think, 3 times so far.
Yeah, they come out in the corner all the time. Like I'll see 10 or 12 deer at once sometimes when they're all just hanging out. And then even the wild ducks will have mallards that just like sleep in the yard, because I think they're like, here's a bunch of other birds that seem to feel okay, like it's safe here. So I'll see them like sleeping out in the grass.
And then you have a bunch of rabbits running around.
We do have a bunch of rabbits.
How many rabbits are there?
Oh my gosh, dozens. Well, there were more. We started with 5 that lived under the porch. They're domestic rabbits, but from the previous owners. There were 3 of them, and they got loose, and then they just started doing
Next
what rabbits
thing you know, there's
do.
50.
Yeah. So apparently there were a lot before when we got here. They must have taken care of all the other rabbits. So there were only 5 when we got here, and then they multiplied very quickly, and we had dozens and dozens. But now we're catching them and selling them at the Rural King.
You saw the rabbits?
Yeah.
And you're selling the eggs too.
Yeah, so we sell rabbits, we sell eggs, make a little bit of money from those, and then not all some of the rabbits, I like them, so like I've already named them, so they're staying here. We don't get rid of these ones. But
what's the name of the one that lives over by the camp spot?
Those ones
the
there.
The little black one.
Yeah, I don't know. Those ones were one of the later generations, so I never named those ones.
You never named them?
Mm-mm.
Is it because he's black?
They're all black, and then I just give them all the same name.
Black rabbits matter.
No, there's one. The oldest one now was the youngest one of the original. There's 5, and then the baby came out, and I just kept calling him Baby. So now his name was just always Baby. But we had some other weird names. We had one that was white that we called Cocaína, which is Spanish for cocaine. And
Cocaína?
Yeah, Cocaína. But he sadly, a lot of them got sick last year, and so then he was one that passed away. And I spent so much time trying to like help them recover and all that too. So it was a lot of crying that I did with all those rabbits. That kind of like desensitized me to more rabbit death now. But the chicken ones, like each time for those that we've lost, there's been a lot of tears. And I try so hard with the geese and the ducks now too, where I'm like, as soon as they get sick though, I've been taking them to the vet and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, I think I might have forgot to mention the ducks.
Yeah,
that's one of the,
got those.
And there's a cat.
2 cats.
2 cats.
Yeah.
What's next?
A dog.
A dog.
Yeah.
Horse.
Huh?
Horse?
I don't know about a horse. They used to have horses here, and so we could. I think Todd's afraid of horses.
He's afraid of horses?
I always forget that.
We don't have to get a Clydesdale.
Yeah, I think he doesn't like the big ones. I think the small ones he's more okay with, but he really wants a dog. My concern is we need a dog that won't actually kill any of the animals, and the geese will attack the dog. because they're jerks.
Yeah. Well, you said last week that one of the geese attacked a horse.
He chased after them. There were two horses. I'd never seen these horses before, and he'd never seen them either. So I looked out the window. I heard some goose honking, and then horses coming by, and I saw him zooming out in the front yard, and then I saw the horses start speed, like there were girls riding them, and they sped up, and I ran out and made sure that he didn't get out to them, and luckily the horses are faster than he is. And then they slowed down once they saw that they got away. But I was terrified because I'm like, you will try and go after it, and they're just going to stomp on you without even thinking about it.
But the horse riders just sped them up a little.
Yeah, just to get away from it too.
And the horse might want to get away.
Really the horses might be scared too. So I'm just like, oh, he's
if they're not familiar with geese.
And yeah, so he's a handful, but he can be friendly. And he'll just nibble sometimes. But he gets, especially with the girl goose eggs him on, because when she starts yelling, then he just like hears it and he's like, yeah, I'm your man. I'm gonna do this for you. So he will fight for her.
It's funny. We'll have to show a picture of them in their little pool. The two geese are in their 2-foot diameter pool.
Oh yeah. Oh no, he's trying to mate with her right now.
Well, we need some more goose eggs.
Well, she'll lay without him, but that's what they're probably. I don't know if he's doing it well. Then these are fertilized eggs we're eating, but I'm not sure. It looked like he kept sliding off, so he
gave up.
Yeah, that was
she
a failed
told him
attempt.
not now.
Well, it's because she's just standing. Usually she might like squat down and yeah, but it's it's fun to see the rooster. He like every morning, like he's rowdy too. As soon as they come out, he's getting on top of one of these hens at least.
We heard him this morning crowing. Time to get up. Everybody get up.
Oh, I'm so glad that he's crowing again, because that's what I was saying before, that after he got attacked, he just wasn't making any sound, and it was really pathetic when he tried crowing. And
the fox got his crower.
yeah, I guess so. Something happened that like hurt him internally. So I was very nervous. Oh nope, oh my gosh, they just fell out of the pool. I don't know if those sounds get picked up by these microphones, but no, that's his victory honk.
we were distracted there because the goose was the boy goose was honking
He's
his
so
victory.
proud. He gets so proud of himself. He says, "I did it." And then she has to clean herself up afterward.
She got back in the pool afterwards.
But yeah, that happens a lot. Again, we thought the breeding season was over in spring, but like they started it up, and then she started building a nest in their goose room, and and I thought she was getting sick.
What's a goose room?
It's just where they live right now. It's the mud room attached to the house, because we want to build a thing for the barn, but we don't have it secure enough to my liking where they won't be attacked by anything, because the geese are just more pets, and the ducks especially too, since the ducks are special needs ducks. Like I don't trust having them out anywhere, because the one can't walk, so if it gets attacked, it's just done for. So fortunately, the adult geese here are pretty protective. So again, like the girl goose thinks she's their mom now, so she's normally just loud, but she doesn't fight, she doesn't attack, but she'll charge at you. Like if she thinks you're getting too close, though, she'll stick her neck out and just run right at you. And not at me. She's okay with me being around them. I don't know why. I guess because she's seen me handle them all the time. But
and I thought like, oh look, there's a car going by. Very unusual event, but it turns out it's Todd.
Yeah, it's just the guy who lives here, which I'm surprised about. I didn't realize he'd be here already.
But he came back early for the barbecue that we're gonna have.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Over,
the chickens
over
all
at
came
the
back.
Camp Beverly.
Do you want more? I don't know if the camera can see them now too, but this is them dust bathing. So they'll sit. That's what that blue litter box is for. It just has dirt in it, so they do like dirt baths.
What does dust bathing do for the chickens?
It's just how they clean themselves. They don't go and go into water.
But dust isn't clean. After you get dusty, you need to be clean.
That's just how that's their form of clean, and it works for them. Oh, even the rooster's joining in. Yoo-hoo, ladies!
Oh, the ladies are coming over.
Scratch grains. The rooster will do it too. He'll make sounds where he's just like, "Oh, look what I found! I've done this food. I've found this food for you." Like we'll hand them something, but he like says, "This food is all right, and I'm providing for you." So he brags that he gets it.
Okay, I think we're in the duck house or the goose house.
This is just a goose pen, duck pen. Wait, I had it up. He's gonna. Hey, knock it off. He's all worked up now.
What's the matter?
Now you're just egging him on. Hey.
If I sit still, he starts to leave me alone.
Don't move.
Just chews on my chair. He has the most amazing blue eyes.
Yeah, they're beautiful. He's a Roman tufted, and they're known for having bright blue eyes, and then the little tuft of feathers on his head.
That's the little tuft at the top.
And I don't know if she's still in camera. She was supposed to be a Roman tufted, but she clearly is not. So she's so gray and
the
she's
gray
really pretty.
goose.
Yeah. So she's, which is a breed, like a gray goose, gray lag goose.
And then there's 2 ducks here that live here.
Yeah, we've got. I think they might still be in frame. The yellow white one is an Indian runner duck, and that's the one who can't walk. So it's a runner duck who cannot walk.
He's a lame duck.
Yeah, a lame duck. Todd makes that joke a lot.
Yeah, I know. I just thought of it, but I can't imagine I'm the first one to come up with that.
And the other one is a cayuga duck, and he's blind in one eye, and then his one wing has angel wing, so it sticks out. And I keep trying to wrap it up to try and hold it in place as it grows, but he manages to wriggle and bite out of it every single time that I've tried different ways to keep it on. So I'm still trying, but he is the worst.
So this is a special needs duck?
Yeah. The white one is more special needs. The other one's okay. It can see out of one eye. He just doesn't have any depth perception. So whenever he tries to go for food or water, he misses at first and has to find his way there.
But he eventually gets the food.
Yeah, and we named because at first the white one, when he stood up, he bounced around, so it was kind of funny. He had some slapstick physical comedy. So we named him Dick Van Duck. And then the other one, when we were trying to think of another pun, I couldn't for other comedians, so I just chose Mary Tyler Moult.
Mary Tyler Moult.
So we just say DVD and MTM now. But the black one was so tiny; it was half the size of the white one, and now he's just so huge.
And they don't mind. They don't seem to care what size the pond is. That's big enough for a duck.
Yeah,
they just like to sit in the water.
Yeah, for most of these birds too, they don't need a lot of water, and we do have more ponds. They just don't like to go. I mean, the ducks can't, but the geese don't even really go over there on their own.
There's a big pool over there.
Mm-hmm.
They just like the little one. It's very cozy.
Yeah, my biggest concern is just that the white one gets crushed by it, especially when MTM gets worked up and starts running around, and DVD might get stepped on.
And then we have rabbits.
Yeah, we've got a few up there.
How many rabbits?
I think there are 5 in that pen there, but just because those are the ones that we trapped. We wanted to prevent them from getting into the field and stuff. Oh, here we go. Yep. Got you all soaked, huh?
We're having little sibling squabbles here. The big ones are picking on the little kids.
Yeah, he always goes after MTM for some reason. He's a lot nicer to this one. But it's one of those things too, they'll want to nibble, but if you freak out and you run away, then they just want to bite you more. So if you stay there and just let them nibble on you, that doesn't get too bad. But now the ducks being separate, they're going to be upset. They don't like to be apart because they're very bonded now. So they may start crying more soon. I'm actually surprised they're not crying. I mean, oh, no. Yeah, he's going. You want me to put him back in the bowl? All right. You're okay.
He wants to go back in. You want to stop and put him back?
He's just still being chased. You're going to knock the camera over.
Okay, we got a little police action going on here. The bigger goose just got chased out of the the duck room. The gray one is allowed to stay.
And this is our new goose too. We took her and him and we don't know yet.
She seems very nice. She never tried to bite me yet, or
No, yeah, she's a little scaredy goose. She's skittish and afraid of everything right now, but when she gets older, we'll see. Especially if she ends up being male. And then she'll probably get more aggressive. But right now,
she declined the interview.
Yeah. She's a little chicken. But
so what are you gonna do with the rabbits?
Rabbits, these ones here, I think for now we're keeping, but that's what we're just trying to trap ones that we weren't planning on selling and putting them in enclosed spaces so that way they didn't eat like the garden and field and stuff. But so right now we're not sure exactly if we're gonna catch the rest of them because they're not going over to the field, which is nice. So.
No, they're just kind of running around the yards.
But we do have this pen built already. Todd put a lot of time and effort into making it, so I guess we got to keep it for something.
And how much do you get for a rabbit?
$6 per rabbit.
$6 per rabbit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sell it for like $17, I think there. So they still get a profit, but I mean these are free rabbits and free range too. So we feed them, especially in the pen. We feed them different pellets and things though, but so it's not that much. But the ones that live under the porch right now, there are a lot of new babies. That's what you guys have seen.
Yeah, I've seen them running around. They're cute.
There are new white ones. The white ones are always the ones that end up getting eaten by something though, because like not all the babies make it. You know, they end up disappearing. And eventually it was just kind of like, well, now I'm used to this. Like I was sad at first, but now I'm just kind of like, here's a new litter. We'll see which ones survive. I'll come back and see you guys later.
It is how it works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they breed a lot, and
that's how the healthy.
They're just kind of prey. Yeah, you want to talk now?
She doesn't mind being on camera, but she doesn't want to say anything.
But yeah. So once they get a little bit bigger, then we'll be able to sell them too. But we're just right now we're like we keep seeing like, oh, this rabbit's pregnant. Well, this one's pregnant. So like that's why some of them like we don't want to catch them because there are still babies underneath the porch, so we can't move them in here because the moms are still needed. So we didn't want to risk that. So some of them are like ones are like, we know that you're not a mom right now, so we can catch you guys.
You can find all the boys and put them in the pen and then wait
they
for them.
They fight a lot, though, too.
Oh.
So that's a big thing with that. Male rabbits do not get along. They have like their own pecking order kind of thing, too. So the baby that I mentioned earlier, he's a runt, but he was like the top because he was the oldest. And so he was the one that was just kind of like king of the area. But the new one, there's an up and coming.
And you get to know the personalities of the rabbits?
Yeah.
I never had a rabbit.
They're very similar. Like the geese and ducks, I think, have kind of more varying personalities, but the rabbits are all fairly similar. Like some can be really friendly and they'll come up to you because they'll want fed and stuff too. But yeah, they're, from what I've noticed so far, though, I just like the ones that are more chill, the ones that do enjoy being pet and stuff like that. Like those are the ones that I become my favorite. That if they come up to you. But the other ones too, that's why like the ones down in the big garage, I don't know them. Like, and that's what they're kind of skittish of people too, though. They're getting a little bit better because they're like hanging out by your car and stuff. But
yeah, there's one that's been over there a lot. But the bigger goose follows you around when you come over to a campsite. Goose comes, yells at me.
He was my first goose too, so. I like to think he and I have a special bond, but when he gets mad at me and attacks, then I just realize
his brain's only about this
he
big,
still has a bird brain. So
it's a bird brain. But
they were really curious. That's what's fun about geese is that, and annoying because it's like you go out to do work. Like I remember we were digging up. I think we were trying to kind of dig up a potato field or something. So we were planting and shoveling, and they came out wondering what we were doing and trying to help. And then they help and. By ruining everything that you're working on and chewing on your shovel and just getting in the way and pooping on everything. So but they really like to help. Yeah, so they follow when they're younger too. the ducks haven't done that, especially since one can't walk. But the geese, when they're little, they really need like an authority figure. So they want a parent. So they follow you around everywhere. So it's really adorable. The new goose too, she's only like 3 months old, and she followed a little bit, but she was a little too scared to like even leave this pen area. So when I put her outside, she'd follow like 10 feet and then get scared and like come back to the fence though, and she just didn't want to leave. That's why I've been surprised when they were all down there
They
this
all
morning.
came down, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we were worried because the older geese are mean to her. We were trying to get her into their flock, but they're kind of an exclusive group. So when I saw them this morning down, all 3 of them down there, I was like, 1, she's leaving this pen area, and 2, the other geese are letting her be with them. So I think that's progress.
So you think you could ever live in a city again after living here?
I mean, I would have to be able to take all these animals with me, though. I'm not going to leave them. Well, because my thought is always that if I take in an animal, like I'm taking it in for life. That's how I felt like with my cat. I was telling Renata that last night, too, though, when I took in the cat when he was a kitten, because it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm 20 years old and stuff, but like he's my responsibility now. Like if I take him in, this is what's happening. So I feel that way with the animals, too. So it's like I'm not going to abandon them.
So you want to do the housekeeping thing? You're way better than that.
Housekeeping, okay.
Yeah, the housekeeping. Like, share, subscribe.
That part
Unsafe Space. Go to unsafespace.com.
Mm-hmm. Like, share, and subscribe. Please give us your money. This is going to air on Wednesday, so we should have a Dangerous Thoughts tonight on Wednesday, because Carter should be back, and we'll have a Token Minority Report Thursday night. So Wednesday night, Dangerous Thoughts, 8 p.m. Eastern. Token Minority Report, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I think that's it for the rest of the week.
It's this week. And then the next Monday is Narrative Dissonance.
Yeah, we'll have another Narrative Dissonance. We have book club is Fossil Future, which we have not set a date for yet. So that will happen at some point.
And that's a fossil fuels? I haven't
Fossil Future.
Fossil Future.
I keep calling it Fossil Future.
Must be about fossil fuels.
Yeah. It's called Fossil Future.
Who's the advocate for
Carter is, but he forgot that that's the one that he chose. But Alex had already started reading the book, so she put her foot down and said, no, this is the book that we're doing. So it's Fossil Future. Carter's the advocate, and it's going to happen. Maybe it might happen in August. Then maybe we'll just push it back.
I won't have to get that one because I can guess what the topic is.
Yeah.
And Carter has brought it up before, the fossil
yeah.
fuels, the move to electric. I saw a whole article a farmer did. He's a large-scale farmer in the Midwest, and John Deere is pushing them to use electric tractors.
Oh,
and
really?
He explained to John Deere, like, do you know what an electric combine, like how much power that is? And the product is corn, and when it's time to pick the corn, they run the combine for 2-3 weeks straight, 24/7. Like, how do you do that on electric?
Jeez, yeah.
Because there's a very short harvesting period, and the combine's worth, I don't know, I think it's $750,000 or something. Like, you don't have a bunch of extras sitting around, and when it's time to use it, you run it. Like, it's hard to believe everything can ever be electric. I think we got to go nuclear power.
And nuclear's, I think, is the best way, but then
the real zero emission power.
People are still put off by it too, so they have all that fear going on. But then I think my dad was just talking about this the other day too, of how because he was listening to podcast, I think Mike Rowe. And they were talking about how, like, the solar ones, or they can be cool, but they burn the birds up though. So like they fly into it and the birds just get like incinerated by the sunlight, just the way that like it's set up and everything.
The solar collectors.
Yeah. And windmills and stuff too. Like a lot of birds are dying due to all these, like, the
windmills.
Yeah, just like the cleaner energy and stuff too. Like, okay, I guess if you hate birds, but I've grown to like them a lot more now with all the ones that I'm collecting.
And I like I'm a geeky solar geek, but I don't see it being used for a combine or a jetliner.
Oh, I'm all about it. My dad uses it to power up his camp and stuff too, though. Like that's all he uses because he doesn't have electric set up over there, so he just has solar and batteries and stuff to charge it in different ways. And we have some solar panels. We just still need to set it up because we're not sure exactly what we want to put it toward yet.
One of the stops we made on this trip was a friend's house. They have a 5 kilowatt solar array on the roof of their house, and they have the 2 meters, one which sells power to the electric company and one which buys from it. So he designed a system, and it's kilowatt neutral over the course of the year. So
nice.
They sell the power company just as many watts as they buy.
That's awesome.
So it's basically using the power company like a battery and paying a fee for transmission. And his house is mostly passive solar heat too.
Really?
In Vermont, which is a challenge to do that in Vermont.
Yeah. That's awesome. Hey, it'd be nice. I guess that's the other thing too, of just trying to be more self-sustaining and like, well, if, zombie apocalypse happens and everything goes down, like I want to be able to like, can we get solar panels charged up and to be able to handle anything? We have a generator, so we have that as emergency right now. But
you do have a diesel, right?
Yeah.
But
it can do propane and gas.
Propane is good. It's cleaner. And it's not as maintenance.
That's what we have
intensive.
for heating too. So we
propane.
have there's that big silver tank. There's a propane tank, and then like when you live in the country, usually everyone has well water. So
as long as you have a way to generate electricity, you get water.
So the concern is if we don't have electricity for whatever, if the power's out, and if we don't have rain, which it has not rained here that much this summer. So we have like the spring, a little creek and stuff in the back of the land, and it dried up because it just hadn't rained much. And there's like another little spring too by the road, and it's dry still too. So I'm just hoping like we need to have some downpours here to help refill everything.
But you're way better off than most city folks that are like, if the stores are closed for 3 days straight, they have no food, or water, or.
Well, we're kind of preppers now too, because we do have some food and water and stuff that we have as emergency. So just in case, and then trying to grow our own and all that too. But we're trying to be more prepared just in case. He's collecting a lot of ammo in case the currency drops in fiat. Though we've got a lot of ammo to barter
for
with.
The man-made disaster as opposed to the natural disaster. But it should have some preparation for both, at least short term.
Right.
And we live in Florida on the coast, so hurricanes are a thing. So we generally are prepared. If we really needed to, we could hold up for at least 2 weeks inside.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Without going out, we have, if they leave the water on, then we could go a month probably.
With a hurricane, that's a lot of water too, so you can collect that. It
depends on if you have a place to collect the rainwater.
Yeah. That's another thing we want to get to.
Drinking water's the main thing. We don't worry about water if not that it's in the apocalypse, the toilet doesn't really matter, but it is nice. Flush toilets were a nice invention. The kings didn't used to have them, but we live on the water, and you can just take a bucket out, and so that doesn't actually matter. If the city water was shut off, we'd be good for a couple weeks. We have enough water to get through a couple weeks, and enough food. We have plenty of canned food and propane. We'd be cooking on propane stoves, but.
And you're used to roughing it and with all the traveling things that you do.
Yeah,
so.
the little camper. You said we were just boondocking for a week. Parked in the shade. We did have to be careful with using lights in the evening because we ran the battery down. But we kept our cell phones charged, and if we get a reasonable amount of sun, then we can use all the power we want. It can easily charge up. The 100-watt panel can easily keep up with us. If it's hot, there's a cooling fan does use a lot of power. So if we run the fan all night, that we need like good sunlight to keep up with that every night. But in the zombie apocalypse, that's not the kind of stuff you start thinking about.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's the fence too. I don't remember if I mentioned that. It's charged by solar panel.
I saw that. Yeah, that's cool. The electric fence is solar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that works. This fence that we're in too is technically an electric fence, but we just had never plugged it in.
Okay, well, we're going to start a barbecue, so let's
starving.
close this show out. And,
Yeah. Again, like, share, subscribe, donate.
Go to unsafespace.com. You can join our Discord group and chat with us.
Yeah. Yeah. We're available to chat.
For monthly donors at any level.
Yes. As little as $1 a month.
So help keep the lights on here. Help keep the internet bits flowing back and forth for Beverly so we can do more of these shows.
To pay for the... I keep telling people, too, that I'm just like, a lot of the money to Unsafe Space is just going to help this duck walk right now because my paycheck is just going to, like, trying to figure out vet bills and other things to try and get him. So right now we're working on a wheelchair.
Yes, a duck wheelchair.
Yeah.
We'll have to see a picture of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we heard about that. Your dad is working on a duck wheelchair.
Yeah, that's what he asked me what I want for my birthday that's coming up. Pretty much just trying to figure out a way for this guy to walk, so.
Okay, let's go back to Camp Beverly and see what Renata's going on with the barbecue.
Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you're new to Unsafe Space, check out our deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. And please consider helping to fund our work by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. We hope to see you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production is known by the state of California to cause unregulated ideation that may be harmful to bureaucrats. Association with the following individuals or tacos is strictly prohibited. Apropos of nothing, I was just wondering how would you feel about another pandemic? Your president is in full control of his mental faculties. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.